Flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, consent agenda. Item 3A, approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2025 board meeting. 3B, approve the minutes for the September 30th, 2025 special board meeting. Item 3C, discussion and possible action to approve the following contracts, agreements for fiscal year 25. A, Anthem contract. B, musical agreement with Concord Theatricals. C, village travel contract for choir and orchestra for Branson. D, village travel contract for choir for Dallas. 3D, discussion and possible action to approve the following out-of-town / out-of-state / overnight trips. A, OK STE conference November 4th through 6th of 2025 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. B, middle school choir trip May 3rd through 4th of 2026 in Dallas, Texas. C, high school choir and orchestra itinerary for Branson, Missouri. D, AOPA STEMS Symposium on November 16th through 18th of 2025 in Atlanta, Georgia. E, OSSAA Game Day State for Cheer on November 14th through 15th of 2025 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. F, Game Day Palm State, November 13th through 14th of 2025 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And G, girls basketball on January 8th through 10th in Holbert, Oklahoma. 3E, approve the additions to the following activity fund accounts. 1, boys basketball, 802. 2, baseball, 805. 3, athletic director, 819. And the last one, 3F, approve the financial fund reports.
So on the financial fund report, starting out with the activity fund report, everything's doing well there. Everyone's in the green, meaning all the accounts are positive. So these were in the negative. Just a note on the ending balance being $678,000. I kind of watch where it is historically compared to the beginning balance, and we're doing really well. There's been years where it was $200,000 less at this time than it was on the beginning balance. So the fundraisers are going well. People are raising a lot of money. So activity fund is healthy. On the function summary report, everything is good here. One thing you may notice that's different from last board meeting is we've got total encumbrances and expenditures. If you add those two columns on the general fund, it's $17.2 million. That's because we've finally encumbered all of payroll, and that's by far our biggest expense. It's around $13.5 million. And that can change a little bit throughout the year, depending on year-end stipends and stuff like that. But I actually think it's around right now 13.3, but we'll probably end up being, I don't want to tell you guys wrong. I think that's about it for the function summary. We're still within our appropriated budget. And then here in a minute, we'll present the budget for this year, and then those numbers will change for next board meeting if you guys accept it. On the tracking sheet for revenue, it's really about the same as last year. I mean, the numbers we've collected, more because we've got our $1 million state aid payment, but there's not a lot of new funds being collected than there were last month, because your things like ad valorem taxes, and federal aid don't really start getting collected until December, January. We're collecting some ad valorem taxes, but your big chunks come in December and January, because that's when the ad valorem bills go out, and people can do it where they pay half in December and half in January or all of it. So you really won't start seeing big chunks of that until the first of the year. One other note I would make is interest rates are dropping, so that our interest earnings may be, I still fully believe we'll collect this amount and more, but they are going to start going down a little bit. We have a CD that we got into it before the rates dropped. They'd already dropped them a little bit, but it wasn't a big drop that we had. So for the next 6 months, we'll keep that interest. Now, we have sweep accounts that make less than a CD, but you have to have some liquidity. And those kind of just drop with the market. There's not much you can do with that. And if you can't really tie them up, because then you wouldn't have the cash on hand to pay your expenses. So we probably will collect a little bit less than last year. That's just something for you guys to be aware of. Any questions on the financial fund reports?
One question I had on 36, the resource officer, are we still part of, is this another year of that grant?
It is.
The third year, is this the third and final year of it?
It is, unless they continue it.
Unless they re-up it, which I think there's been talks. I think they thought the program really well, so they've talked about re-upping it. But as far as we know, this is the last year unless something new comes about.
Yep.
Any questions on any of the others above that?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Wellston?
Yes.
Yates?
Yes.
Jaggers?
Yes. Item 4, approve the general fund non-payroll encumbrances for fiscal year 26, number 286 through 334, for $73,788.68. The fiscal year 26 change orders for general fund of $7,391.87. The general fund payroll, $70,000 through $70,592, for $13,420,206.29, and the fiscal year building fund non-payroll number 13 through 14 of $3,200.
So some of the POs, I like to just go through some of them off the top, and then, you guys definitely ask me questions if you have any. I think the first one I would go over is, you'll see POs 344 and 345. They're separate POs, but they're part of the same thing. We're getting a new Redbird flight simulator. So we already have one that's paid out of we get some aviation funds every year, and that's what, if you guys approve it, they want to use it on. And then the one underneath, it's just a warranty. Obviously it's so expensive, we want to make sure there's a warranty, there's software updates. On 361, that's I believe the biggest PO for this month, to Pinnacle Propane. That's just a
Your
blanket.
numbers are a little bit different than ours.
Yeah, 344, I didn't see it,
It's
344.
$295 and $296 for the simulator.
Oh, okay,
And a
well,
warranty.
I do an Excel sheet.
312.
I do an
Yeah.
Excel sheet for these, and I probably get next month's sheet and read you the numbers. Let me
That's
pull it
all
up.
right.
Let me pull it up on here.
Yeah, I see it right there.
I try to type them out, that way I've got a good understanding. Okay. So the Pinnacle Propane, I'll try to find her number, but it's that 11,000 number on the amounts. And that's just a blanket PO for, we have propane field buses. We have propane buses at the field that they fill those up with.
If you tell me what it is, I can find it real quick.
312.
312.
312, so school safe.
That was the propane.
Okay.
I saw it, that would
I've I think I've reoriented myself.
Okay.
So 318 is school safe ID. That is paid out of federal funds, and what we're doing is getting another safe ID kiosk that they're going to make mobile, just to kind of wheel it around in case there's kind of a backup on days that a lot of people are coming in and stuff, so that they can scan in.
May help on our days where we have a lot of parents coming for like the lunch meals and things like that, where there's been times where we've had to just kind of sticker, because it's so many. Hopefully this will help with that.
PO 320 is one to Amazon for its school safe medical instructional supplies. That's the same federal funds. It's Title IV, and it's just a safe school initiative. That it's kind of a blanket PO for supplies. We'll definitely use it. It's also, you can use it on social and emotional training or instruction. PO 321 to DH Pace Company. They're installing some a handicap accessible door on one of the ECC bathroom doors. That was actually funds that were donated directly to the school for that. So, and then I don't think I'll do 322 as well. That's all school musical. Every year we have to pay for royalties and like a rental for them to be able to do the musical that they're doing. So it's a decent size amount, but we do that every year, and it allows them to do the musical they want to do. So. Sorry about being off on the numbers.
No, that's okay. I have a question on 327 Oklahoma Public School Resource Center. Have we been part of that for some time? I believe this is our first year to be part of that.
This is the first year. So things that they offer are the TLE recertifications for principals and assistant principals, which is included in that district. There's also the finance team can do some of their training on that as well, and we get some discounts with vendors. But this is the first year. Yeah.
That's what I was curious about. I know that there seems to be two of the arms in the state. There's COSA, there's Oklahoma Public School Resource Center, and I noticed that we were new with that. So I was curious what the benefit was for us, why we would engage with them when we have not in the past.
Right.
We should make, and full disclosure, that's Dr. Jasper is right now. I don't want to not say that. I want you to be open to you. But with the discounts and the TLE recertifications and the continuing education, because we all have to have 12 hours, it'll probably be more than the actual cost of that.
I'm very familiar with them. They're a great group to work with. I do a lot of lunch and learns there and things like that. They also offer board trainings as well. So I don't, from what it looks like from a cost standpoint and all of that, I don't know, but those are things that we certainly need to engage in and take a look at. There's just a lot of things that they do down there.
I believe the board trainings are free as well, included. I need to verify that, but
Not to take away from the COSA conference and all, because that's a fantastic leadership conference.
Yeah.
But in the event one can't attend, then that may be an option.
Well, and that was for us too, like our TLE, which is our teacher evaluation system. We were also kind of locked into dates that were given to one, and then also a lot of times we had to pay for those. And so that was a lot of these trainings aligned with what trainings we already get, and these a lot of these, I won't say all of them because some of them are partial payment, but a lot of them are free. And then there's also a lot from the business side that I don't know that are offered as much. So seemed like a good thing to give a shot,
Good deal.
And we can also look into, I know the TLE was on demand, which a lot of places are just starting to move on demand. It's a little surprising to me that they're just now doing it, but there may be some other stuff that's, like the business office trainings can also be on demand too. So.
Great.
I saw on 108, which is on the change order report, arbiter pay trust for security for events.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll answer that one.
Okay.
Well, I say that. Is this for the substitute or is this for actual events?
It can be a mix of both. We just have to send money to Arbiter every so often. So we pay for kind of the history of it. Before I was here, is there was a deal that happened at Choctaw, and so everybody got together and decided we probably needed more security, specifically at football games. And so the district pays for some of that security, and it's run through Arbiter. The officers, I think most of them are from Bethany PD. They put all their info on Arbiter, and that's how they're paid, and then they get a 1099 from there. We also, Mr. Holcomb had a surgery. I don't want to say, I don't know if I'm allowed
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah,
That's a good way to say it.
He had a medical issue, and so he did a great plan of having a security officer here, not every day, but spread out throughout the week, 3 days a week, and so that's also how we're paying him, just through our group.
I make a motion to approve the encumbrances as presented.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Walston.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 5, budget presentation. 5A is presentation of the final revenue and expenditures for 24-25. 5B is the presentation of the 2025-2026 budget. And 5C is discussion and possible action on approving the adoption of the 2025-2026 budget.
So I've given you guys a packet, and the first page after the cover page is where you see that we landed at the end of FY25.
Okay.
So final revenue including fund balance was $24,155,000. The final expenditures were $19,834,000. One thing I would say, and it says including fund balance, but it's just important to know, this is the way it's always been presented, but to me, from an accounting background, it's just a touch misleading because you're not getting new funds of $24 million every year. There was a $6 million carryover that came into that to make that $24 million, and that's just one-time funds that you haven't spent.
Yeah.
And so it's not, misleading may be a bad word, but it's just something to be aware of, that we're not receiving that much in new funds every year. And so we can't spend, 22 million or 23 million every year. But that's where we ended up last year, with a fund balance of 4.3 million carrying into this year. On the next page, projected revenue and expenditures for FY26. Our projected revenue, including fund balance, which is that 4.3 million number, is $20,937,000. And that number will match. A big reason for that decrease is we had a $6 million carryover last year. We had to, and you have a carryover penalty if you don't spend so much, and so $2 million of that had to be spent. And so that's a big chunk of why those numbers are different.
Okay, so you're telling me that the projected revenue, new money, is 16 million. If I have 4.3, well, I mean, if I have 4.3 million carryover, maybe it's 15.7.
Subtracted from 20,900,000, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe it's, I actually wrote it down, because I thought you might ask. I think it's 16.6
Okay.
is what I remember. Let me get to my page.
I'm just
Yeah,
off the
16.
top of my head
See-
thinking, wondering about that.
Yeah, it's about 16.6 million.
Okay. And that would be just taking that 20
29.
million.
Minus 43.
And then
20.9.
subtracting out the 4.3. Yeah,
So one thing I would say on that is,
I need to hone my math skills.
Good job.
so what I would say on that is that 16.6 million in revenue is taken directly from the estimate of needs.
Mhm, right,
The estimate of needs, this is something I was gonna say, but in certain revenue categories, they will only estimate 90% or 95%. So we should collect more than 16.6, probably a decent amount more. I think, my first thought is that in the fall, you want to expect to receive that, just in case something, happens.
right.
But it is we typically over collect by a decent amount, from what they're expecting,
Okay,
is what I would say. And then if you did the numbers on last year's, you would see a revenue of 18 million. And so I'll just go ahead and explain why are we going from 18 million to 16.6. And the first thing I would say about that is last year's estimate of needs, I believe, estimated 16.9. So the estimate is not far off. But there are things like last year we had collections of $250,000 for the insurance on the roof. And so that's included in your revenue.
I see.
There's also around 250,000, or 171,000 in final COVID money, ESSER money. And so I know that sounds surprising, but we were still getting COVID money even last year.
Yeah,
And then also in the estimate of needs, they've just factored in another 93,000 was last year the school resource officer, we collected 183. And then also they factor in state aid. So if you look at our final revenue for last year, that's with all the state aid included. Our state aid number is lower right now because they withhold 2% because they're waiting to see what the final counts are.
I see.
So there's, 700,000 to 800,000 in change there just to, it gets closer to the 16.6. Plus you're underestimating just in case. You may not collect as much as the last year, but those are the numbers that are, because I know that sounds like a lot different. Let me see if there's anything. And so back to did that answer your question, Mrs.
It
Eads?
did, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I can see why you put it like this.
Yeah.
Because you need to be realistic. You don't want to have more expenditures than you have expected revenue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would show that otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Under promise and over deliver.
That's right.
Well, and so when we get to the projected expenditures, what I'm asking for is 18.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
We will not spend 18.4 million.
Mhm.
We really probably need to be somewhere in the 17.6 to 17.8 range. Just because we'll probably collect more on the estimate of needs. Our carryover probably will have to go down from the 4.3 to the 3.5 to 3.7 range.
Mm-hmm.
So to balance the budget, we may be a little over on expenditures versus if we collect 16.6 or 17, but it's kind of a balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
You have to spend that, and then, if that's how it works out, what we'll do is we'll probably flip the insurance premium, which is $500,000, into the building fund where we have revenue to pay for it, and then we'll balance. So I think a big thing to say is there's a plan to balance it.
Okay.
We probably will end up not wanting to have it balanced just based on, you can only carry over so much and stuff
Right.
like that. But next year we will, and there's a plan to do that.
Okay.
So, I think that's all I would say on the 18.4, the reason you always ask for more is things like last year we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a roof. And so if you'd have to run a supplemental budget if something like that came up and you put your numbers at 17.6 or 8, because you're only budgeting for very little more. And so on the roof, you're going to collect insurance as revenue and you're going to expend it out. So you're not really hurt anymore by it, but if your budget's too low, which there's nothing wrong with running a supplemental, it's just you want a little bit of space in case something like that happens.
Is that why function 4,000, little under $800,000 smaller?
Yeah, so 880,000 of that was an expense on the new roof.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
But it's a wash,
yeah, it's well,
or a bit of a wash.
not
Maybe not all of
not
it.
all of that was insurance. A lot of that was district paid because they depreciate roofs and stuff.
Sure.
So my example that I gave you doesn't hold exactly true.
Mhm.
It was about 250,000 that we got from insurance, just because they depreciate them. And after, I think they told us after 15 years, you just don't
Get
you don't
anything for it.
Yeah, you don't get much for them. So, but I'm hoping no new roofs.
Right, we
This
got a new one
Long
now.
time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And then on the page that shows the function codes, are there any other questions that stand out to you guys?
Just 3,000. There's a little bit of it's considerably higher, 25% higher probably. So what?
So 3,000 is child nutrition.
Uh-huh.
We always you want to budget more for child nutrition. Just I don't think it'll be that. I don't think it'll be close to being that much more. But it's just one of those things where you want to have room to make sure, because it's the child nutrition program, and that will go up just a tad because we've had some of our kitchen staff that are out, and so we've had somebody subbing and stuff. Not a huge amount, so it probably will be a little more, but not probably not that much more. We're just budgeting in case.
And then 2,700, that's reduced because I'm assuming we don't have to buy as many buses as we have in the
Yeah,
past.
that's
Okay.
that's the function code that buses go in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and what I would say is that could end up being even less on that one. You're budgeting to set a number so that you can really watch to not go over those. But that's absolutely what the decrease was there. And then if there's nothing else on that, really the last page to go over is the building fund budget. You'll see at the top our revenue plus fund balance is 1.8 million. 1 million of that is fund balance carryover, and 800,000 of that is, revenue for the year. That revenue could go up a little bit. It's not going to be nearly as much as your general fund could go up because the number's just not as big. So even if you're estimating low, you're not going to get an increase of hundreds of thousands on that one.
Just for an understanding on Redbud, how's Redbud determined?
So Redbud they did that to try to equalize the schools that don't have a lot of ad valorem taxes. And so in the school formula, they really do a great job of equalizing it. So they basically work out the formula, and the schools that they take your ad valorem back, there are some minuses to they get their bottom number and take stuff like they have what's called chargebacks for like gross production taxes and certain taxes. And some schools don't have a lot of that. And so they get Redbud money to supplement it, to equalize the it's a way of equalizing.
Okay. All right.
And I believe if you wanted to, it may be better for me to send you kind of a write-up of what it is, because your building fund gets, I believe it's 5% of what your general fund gets in assessed taxes. And so it's based on looking at that as well.
Okay.
I think what I'll do is, I've looked it up, but
No.
it's a
I was just
complicated
curious, you know, why do we have it? Why are we at 700? What was our was it last year 700?
Yeah, so that's a pretty consistent number, and Bethany is one that gets a lot of red bud funds compared to some
Yeah,
other
There's no ad
districts.
valorem tax.
Yeah, and that's
We
the
don't
reason.
get the gross production
That's right.
taxes. We
So
don't
that's
get big
that's right.
money.
So this is specifically
We have a small district.
created to offset that for districts just like ours who
Yeah.
don't have the benefit of a lot of ad valorem. So
Right.
it's huge for us,
Yep.
Yeah.
and something that we, will advocate to continue.
Yeah.
For sure, because it's a game changer for us for sure.
I want to say one more thing, just because I don't want to mislead you. So when they do the state aid formula, the building fund is not calculated in that, but they're using those chargeback numbers for assessed value, because that leads into how much everybody gets for the building fund.
Mhm.
If that makes
Yeah,
if that makes
it
sense.
would have to be based on that.
So on the building fund, I'm gonna move on to expenditures and kind of tell you guys where we're at. So the big expenditures are obviously the track project, the architecture. That's all a part of the track project. So it's about 625, 630,000. That's really already spent or going to be spent before December. And so, and then also we are paying for the custodial contract out of that, which will be a throughout the year deal. All been paid, and there's some flexibility. We also have a PO and general fund. But you'll notice this projected carryover over of 565,000. We don't really want to go below that because, like I said before, to balance the budget next year, we may need to pay the insurance premium, which is about just under 500,000. And that's kind of the plan for balancing it. So we're not in a bad place in the building fund. We are going to be lower than we've been in past years just because the track project was a 2-year project. It was about $500,000 last year, and it's about $500,000 this year. And so we've got some other things that we would like to do. We're probably going to wait and see towards the end of the fiscal year
See where we're at.
if we do those. There may
That's-
be general maintenance things
So
that come
the
up.
projected carryover is what we're gonna do next year. I mean, it goes to next,
It goes to next year.
like, next August, I guess, because your
Mhm.
fiscal year ends in the end of July.
June.
Or June,
Yeah.
okay. So in July, we project we're gonna carry over the 565.
Yeah. hmm And in
We carried over $1 million this year, right?
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what I'm saying. And the track is already spent, and so there's these other ones. We have an HVAC schedule that you don't want to let those things get too far down the road, because if they start going out, you've got to replace
Yeah.
them and stuff. And so
Well, I think it's great to plan for those things on
Mhm.
the regular, so we don't have a huge expenditure, kind of like we did with the roof. I mean,
Yeah.
just
absolutely.
over maintenance over time is much
Yeah.
better, I think.
So we'd like to do those things, but probably wait till the spring to see
Mhm.
where we are. Building fund is a pretty good picture because a lot of this has already been done.
Yeah.
So, or will be done.
Add one thing to that. So, with the building fund, we've communicated pretty consistently, we're kind of now in a season of saving again. We want to try to let that build up as we dream for future projects. Certainly there's some things we'll have to take care of, but we want to let that build up again. So we don't have we have a lot of major projects we would love to do, but we're gonna hold off a little bit, let this build up a little bit more, and then look to prioritize those things. And then also, something we're doing with principals, administration, and including teachers in this communication, which is we're trying to, and I've said this before, we're trying to be as efficient as possible on, you know, staffing and those things, because when we're able to shift things like the custodial contract and keep that into general fund, that allows more to stay in the building fund for that. We'll build that up faster. So it is kind of a balancing act there too of if we're able to keep that out of the building fund, we're going to be able to enhance facilities and things like that faster. If we're not able to do that, it's okay, but it's just going to take longer to do some of those things. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, but generally speaking, we're in a more of a season of saving for a bit of looking forward to those next projects in a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the last thing I would say is it's a bit of a sticker shock to see these numbers just kind of drop like they have. And as weird as this is to say, this is the first normal year we've had since COVID with all of the carryover and stuff. We are not in a bad place financially. And this year will probably set the precedent for what is normal since it's the first year. And then there will be more minor adjustments. There was a couple million in one-time expenses last year that were not expected to be repeated.
Right.
And so that drop is not like we've got to just cut 2 million out of the budget. But we do have to be good stewards and be careful at the same time because there's not as much money, there's not as much funding being put out there.
Yeah.
So, but it's not a doom and gloom picture. We're in a really good spot.
Okay, good.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave you with a negative impression. There was always going to come a time where an adjustment had to be made.
Sure, sure.
And we had talked about this. So
Yeah,
it's-
we
Yeah.
already talked about
Yeah.
it.
And the federal government just decided to do
Prefer this
it.
approach.
What?
I certainly prefer this approach.
Yeah,
versus
I do
Yeah.
too. I do
The,
too.
the federal government just decided to do it my first year.
Right.
They were thinking of me.
There you go.
Any other questions that you guys? The bond fund budget is just really you're setting, these are your expenses for the year and it's an in and out deal.
Yeah, sure. I make a motion to approve the adoption of the 2025-2026 budget.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Wallstad,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 6, update on Riley's law plan for the district.
Okay, so this is just an informational item for you guys. It's something that we revisit every year within our plan. It has to do with our preparation and preparedness for emergency situations. And so every year we take the emergency action plan that we have, make sure it's all updated. Mr. Chafee really helps us with this a lot, and also really helped us to put all this together. He's done a great job with all the detail in it. But it includes, you know, maps, emergency procedures for a variety of situations. He's made sure things like AED locations and AED signage, and just there's a ton of things that go into this. But this is mainly just to assure you guys as a board that this is happening every year as per the law, and you're, you know, welcome to look through it and just kind of see all the different things that are in place, so that if an emergency comes to pass, we've got a plan for it. Like I said, I give some credit to a lot of people, the nurses, Mr. Chafee, Mr. Martineau. They all kind of look at this and have to go through with a fine-tooth comb to say, okay, what's changed, whose contact information has changed, what locations, you know, do we need to make some adjustments to, and so they've done a great job with that.
Yeah, it's good. I could tell a lot of work had been
Oh, yeah.
done on it.
That's
Very
good.
detailed.
It's noted as an informational item, but also recommended motion to approve. Do we need to do that?
Oh, do we have that?
No, there's no motion. It's just
Okay.
information.
So just, okay.
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 Okay. Item 7, motion to approve the addition of an equine club to the high school.
And Mr. Joel's not here, but I'll speak to it a little bit. There was just interest in creating a club with some students who are interested in horses for better term. And so they went through the steps of, talking about the mission of the club, and you can see there's a presentation that they presented to Mr. Jewell. They have a sponsor, and so this is just the steps that students would go through to start a club. And so that's you can kind of see their presentation. They did a great job, and I'm sure there's some other students who would love to join them, but they've got a passion for it, and certainly it's something that we don't have any issues with them, getting together and talking about that shared passion and inviting some other people to come and sharing that as well. And so this is just a motion to approve the club to start.
I make a motion to approve the addition of an equine club to the high school.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 8, discussion and possible action on 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students receiving credit in math and science for math and science courses offered at Canadian Valley Technology Center.
So this is just going to have to do with graduation requirements and acknowledging that we will accept those credits that they receive at the Canadian Valley Technology Center. So we just have that as a item here to make sure that it's approved to receive those and accept those.
So do we need a motion to approve?
We do.
I make a motion to approve the 10th, 11th, 12th grade students receiving credit in math and science for math and science courses offered at Canadian Valley Technology Center.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 9, staff reports.
So our principals are at parent-teacher conferences right now. We want them to be there, so there are some reports here. We do have a couple people here, so I will let you guys who are here give your report. We can start with special services maybe.
Alrighty. So today was super excited. We filmed, be watching social media. We filmed a fun video where we revealed our new shuttle lift bus, and it was, it's beautiful. Come tour it. It's awesome. So excited. The kids were, they were so excited to ride in the bus. So once they got on the bus and they looked at it, then they were like, drive the bus, drive the bus. So we had to take a little tour around the school. They loved it. And then Children's Center is, we are hoping that they're going to be able to come on the 24th to our home football game. So we're still kind of working out the details. If they come, we might make them fans of the game or something like that. But we're just waiting medically to see, and it kind of depends on the temperature. There's just a lot of factors that go into that. One other thing that's not on my report, just to let you guys know, we received guidance from the State Department of Ed yesterday regarding some of the, well, I've heard two different terms. I've heard riffing and I've heard firing from the Office of Special Education Services at the U.S. Department of Ed. So I think there are currently only 2 staffers left in that office, but that does not change our mission. It doesn't change. There is still federal law, IDEA. We are still required to provide special education. The state assured us funding is not going away in any capacity for special education. So just if you guys hear that too, kind of through the grapevine from parents, the state has, they are wanting us to spread the word that it's going to be okay, and we are still, we're still moving on with our charge. So.
I know from a communication standpoint, I had an email today from the Department of Education that stated just exactly what you said. So I don't know if that was to everybody in the state. I don't know how I'm on that list or whatever. Parents or
I think it's parents.
Hey, quick question about the Bethany Children's Center. So there are 21 students attending. Is that the highest number we've had
It is.
since ever or since COVID? Okay.
Yes. So, and then this week we're at 22. We had a new student start this week, and then after fall break we'll be at 23.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
That is exciting. Do we still, from a football standpoint, there was a time where there was a children's bowl
I know, yeah.
where we honored those kids, and I know it was always a challenge, but there was fundraising that took place from the visiting team as well as the home team, and so I was just curious. Oh, Mr. Martineau is in the room.
That was an initiative that was put on by the hospital.
Was it?
Wow.
Okay.
And they chose to no longer, they did not want to pursue that
Okay.
anymore. So it kind of, I think when some of their fundraising vision and goals changed,
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
so
Absolutely.
they had to devote their time and resources in other places.
Great. Thank you.
And then Mr. Marshall.
Yes. Our choir and orchestra have, our choir sent 39 kids to try out for the Central Oklahoma Choral Directors Association, and 28 of those 39, 20 junior high and 19 high school kids made, I guess, qualified for the honor choir, or made the honor choir. Orchestra had 3 of their kids make the honors orchestra. Football had started off with 2-0 start. We're so young, and you know, we've had a lot of injuries. Kind of got bit by the injury bug, but we're I'm excited about it just because of our youth and our you know, I mean, it's hard to see because when you go to Tuttle and they're ranked #1 in the state and those things, or you face an Arkansas team that's #1 in 6A, sometimes you take it on the chin, and unfortunately, you know, we've taken our lumps, but this week is a really big game, and you know, I'm hopeful that we can find a way to continue to get better. I think we are, through all the injuries. We still have a bunch of kids that are out this week, but we go to Hera, and it'll be a big matchup, and really we're still sitting tied for second, and we would, you know, if we can find a way to win enough games, we'll have a chance to host a playoff game, first time since 2019, and which is something else, especially with a team that's as young as this one, and things like that. The band, they placed second in their regional. They qualified to go to state, and they went to state this weekend and competed. They did great. Cross country, as you can see, they go to regionals this weekend, this Saturday. They go to regionals at Heritage Hall, and but they've had some great finishes, first and second place finishes. Many of their individuals have been first place or second place, top 5. Just really, I would say the program as a whole is continuing on an upswing. Softball got better again this year, made it to super regionals against a really good Blanchard team, and unfortunately got beat. But you know, in our regional, to beat Bing, who beat us out last year, was really big. And the way that they beat them, Bing was 21-9, and we beat them 13-1 and 9-2, which was really says something about our team. And so I'm, you know, hopeful that they continue to get better, and that's our goal. And then I guess kind of the culmination of all this, volleyball's going to state again, and I'm getting ready to send an email to Ms. Tovar to send out to the district of when we're playing and where to get tickets and how much they are and all those things. But we play at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, so at Carl Albert. So we don't have to go to Sepulpa this year. We're at Carl Albert, and so it'll be in the morning, Thursday and Friday. If we happen to win Thursday, then we'll play 9:30 again on Friday.
At Carl Albert.
At Carl Albert.
Okay, excellent.
And so we're really excited about the volleyball team,
Sure.
and excited about the state of our athletics programs and our activities.
I know Mr. Jewell's not here, but a couple of things on the high school report. How exciting for the aviation club to go visit or hear the presentation by the first woman to man a space shuttle. That had to be exciting. Or not to man a space shuttle, to
Right.
woman a space shuttle. Is that how we say that? I don't know. I will be correct. Other
sounds
things
all right.
with the high school, a couple things. Luke Gillespie as a national
Yeah.
merit scholar,
That's pretty
finalist. I mean, we've only had a handful of those, haven't we?
Yeah, and then, I mean, we'll still find out if, he ends up being a finalist.
Finalist,
so
yeah.
Still.
Yeah. And then the final thing I was just kind of curious about, it seems as though we've, with brick and mortar, we've a tremendous focus on tier 1. I was hoping to hear a little bit about that from Mr. Jewell. Maybe you know a little bit more about that.
A little bit. I can, mention, have him speak a little bit more about next time. I know both, elementary, middle school, and high school. For high school, for example, I know just in recent weeks they've had their departments meet down at admin in the conference room and spend pretty much a day, I think it was a full day, at least a half day, kind of just going back to some basic things of reviewing. That was for standards. So trying to identify, we have all these standards, what are our essential standards, and not just identify, but let's talk about those as a department, because we all work together as students go from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. And so that is a good practice to do every few years, because you have new teachers coming and going, and that's what we've seen a lot is we have done these things. Mr. Jewell, you came just the right time.
Listen.
You're going to get to talk here in a second. I'm explaining the essential standards.
Yeah.
But I'll let you talk a little bit about your tier 1 and brick and mortar and what you guys have kind of been working on. I'm talking about what y'all did in admin when you did essential standards and looked at those by departments, just as a basic core part of what are we teaching. And then Mr. Jewell, I'll let you talk about other kind of conversations that are going on right now regarding tier 1 interventions, brick and mortar.
It's been great. It's been fantastic. Miss Silva is such a great addition to the school, and I kind of challenged her. I said, listen, I need some help with brick and mortar. It's been a struggle for me. When I first got here, it was kind of a hodgepodge of what are we doing. And so Chad and I kind of rallied the troops and kind of organized it where at least we knew where the kids were, we knew what was going on, what was happening, but it wasn't like we wanted it to be, which is an intervention period. And so I gave Miss Silva this task, and she's just taking it and run. So they had a committee together. They've met 3 or 4 times. They come up with the best idea possible to make this an intervention period. So we're going to go back a little bit to their roots to talk about tier 1 interventions. But really what we're doing is we're giving kids that 30 minutes of solid intervention time period, and it's going to be fantastic. After fall break, we've met a couple times with the staff already. We bought a new system that Mr. Jasper and Dr. Bellows had approved for us to buy, that we basically are paying, it's like $1,000, where it helps us organize the kids, where if I'm in Mr. Marshall's anatomy class and I need to see these 7 kids, they come to me and we know where they're at. Our current system just didn't have the capacity to do that. And so I'm stoked about it. I really am. I'll give you more details when Ms. Silva and I kind of sit down and rally it all up after fall break, but it's been really good. We spent last month in September, every department met for a day, sometimes 2, just working on essential standards, getting a curriculum map, pacing guide, just to be organized. So when we look at our 35 English standards, we can't cover all 35, but we can cover 12 really in depth. And then the second level of standards we'll cover, not as deep, and then the third level we'll cover, but maybe not, and then we can vertically align. I mean, it's really good. I think it did a really good job.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
It's going to be, I'm pumped.
The software that you are looking at, I know that was one of the issues early on.
Yes.
The intent was great as far as where kids should be, and you talk to kids about where they should go,
Right.
but there wasn't a system that anyone could really look at to identify between the teachers. And so a kid maybe knows where they're supposed to be, and the teacher maybe knows where that kid's supposed to be, but then tracking where they actually going there, where were they going, there wasn't really that firm system. So this is something that maybe looks to address that.
100%. The tracking and the accountability piece of it is really challenging. So Coach Forrest would try his best to get them put on Infinite Campus. Kids have to sign up at a certain time period, but then it really turned into just like, hey, Mr. Wallstad needs this person, Mr. Jaggers needs this, and everybody's emailing each other. And then somebody will call and say, hey, I need Sawyer Yates down to the front office. And I'm like, I don't know where Sawyer is. And so I'm trying to find where Sawyer last went. He's in the gym with 60 other kids playing basketball. I'm like, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. How is this okay? And so my head is spinning. And so I'm sitting there, I'm yelling at Chad. Chad's yelling at me. We're trying to figure this out. And eventually it just turned out to a point where when Ms. Silva came in, she really just took the bull by the horns and said, hey, listen, I got this. Give me a little bit of flexibility. Trust this process. Let's get with our teachers. Let's work on a system that's going to be good for us. And it's going to be fantastic. After fall break, when this is initiated, I'm really excited because you have the buy-in from the teachers, because the teachers are the ones behind the scenes doing it.
Sure.
Not top down. I'm not
Right.
telling them this is what you're doing. Ms. Silva isn't. When we had the meeting 2 weeks ago, it was Ms. Regier, it was Ms. Meek, it was Ms. Tackett, it was these teachers that have been here and know what's going on and show that this is what we're supposed to do to be the best we can.
And Dr. Bell has touched on it. We had turnover when we started the brick and mortar 5-6 years ago. It was really good, and we did some really good things. And then we'd have a little turnover, and it would just kind of different things would happen, and it wasn't as beneficial to the students. I mean, we just because the mortar part of it, the mortar piece was really good because, you know, Miss Harold could teach the kids about something if she likes to crochet or whatever, and something that they could actually possibly use, something that she found interesting. You know, Coach Morgan was showing them how to change a tire and tie a tie and really good things, and then it just got watered down when we had teachers leave and new teachers come.
Remind me, when is brick and mortar?
So it's Wednesdays, late start. So late start, we have
Okay.
that morning period where teachers meet from 7:45 to 8:30, roughly that time frame. Then brick and mortar in the middle of the day is officially from 10:45 to 11:20. So we got about 35 minutes roughly where teachers get a chance just to really dive in, and hopefully we're going to see more remediation, more tier 1, more tier 2. We're going to talk about as deep as we can with these kids to give them a chance to be successful. We got to do better, and we will do better.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry I was late. Okay, I gotta get fast.
Just in time,
I have
Yeah.
just running around the hallway.
Any other questions?
Not for me.
A lot of good stuff.
Item 10, proposed executive session to discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of an employee as listed in Addendum A, B, and C as authorized by 25 OS 307B1.
So that's up to you guys. We do have a few things listed there, but just some standard things.
I didn't have
make
any
a-
questions about any of them.
I don't either.
So do we need to
Make a motion to not convene.
not convene? Okay.
I make a motion not to convene into executive session.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yates,
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 13, proposed executive session to discuss the appointment of an individual and/or
Wait a
interview.
minute, don't we need to do 11 and 12?
We just did.
No, we just
Well, we have
didn't go
to- we have
into
to-
executive session.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
yes,
still
okay.
have to vote.
Oh, still have
Yes,
to
thank
vote on
you.
it. Yeah, thank
Item
you.
11, discussion and possible action on the employment of personnel in Addendum A for the 25-26 school year as authorized by 25 OS Section 307B1.
Second? Or, excuse me, so I need to repeat the motion here?
We're just, yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
Motion to approve the employment of personnel in Addendum A for the 25-26 school year as authorized by 25 OS Section 307B1.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Okay, now item 13. Proposed executive session to discuss the appointment of an individual and/or
No, you need
We
to
have
do
one more.
12.
We have
We're at
one for
12.
12?
Yeah.
Okay, just as an action item?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a separate personnel item. 11 and 12 are two
Oh,
separate.
okay.
12, resignation.
Discussion and possible board action on the resignation of employees in Addendum B as authorized by 25 OS 307B1.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the resignation of employees in Addendum B as authorized by 25 OS Section 307B1.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Wallstead,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. All right, item 13. I've really wanted to get to it.
To it.
Item 13, proposed executive session to discuss the appointment of an individual and/or interview candidates for vacant school board, seat number 3, 25 OS 307B1 and 70 OS 5-118.
I vote to convene into executive session.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Wallstead,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. let the record reflect that the board voted to enter into executive session at 7:01 p.m. and exited executive session at 7:48 p.m. The board discussed only agenda item number 13, discussion of candidates for open seat number 3. No votes or action were taken. Item number 14, informational items.
All right, got some upcoming things. We've got fall break here at the end of this week and through Monday. We have elementary school skate night on October 23rd. The Foundation Mummy Son Dance, October 25th, and we're looking forward to that. It's kind of a new thing for the foundation, so looking forward to that opportunity for moms and their sons. Fall Festival is October 27th in the high school. The foundation auction, online auction, only starts on November 3rd. And then the Veterans Day assemblies for elementary is November 7th. Middle school and high school is on November 11th. Looking forward to celebrating our veterans.
Item 15, board member comments.
I don't have any.
Item 16, superintendent report.
All right, so as Mr. Martineau shared, we've got a lot of great things to celebrate as we move through our fall sports. Softball making it super regionals, finishing on a hot streak there at the end of the season and really putting it all together at the right time. Volleyball's head to state, as we heard. Football, again, has a big district matchup, and we want to say congratulations to our band on their success in getting second place at regionals. And then congratulations also to the 28 students who made the COCDA Honors Choir recently. With the schools, we just returned from Camp Klassen with our 5th graders, and just want to say I really appreciate our teachers, our counselors, our parents. We have a large number of parents who continue to volunteer for them take off work 3 days, spend time with not only their kids but other people's kids and us, and it really makes it work, and it's just such an amazing tradition to be able to take our kids there. So we appreciate everybody who made that happen, and it was an awesome experience in a different environment. We also have parent-teacher conferences yesterday and today, and just want to thank our teachers and our parents for being willing to sit down, talk about how things are going in the first quarter, to make sure that their student is on the right path moving forward. And we have a large percentage of parents who participate in that, and it's so important. So I just want to say thank you to all the parents who take the time to sign up. I know a lot of times it's easy to think, I think my kid's doing fine, I think I would know if they're not doing fine, but there are a lot of small details you can talk about a child, even a child who's being very successful. And so appreciate parents being willing to come and take that time, and teachers being willing to make sure everybody's on the right track. Also want to say I appreciate the principal's work on accreditation, and Mrs. Lott, our administrators, had our accreditation visit today, and still working through accreditation, all those things, but it is a lot of time on reports that aren't always the funnest reports to put together, but they are important, and we do want to make sure that we're doing all the things in the right way that we should be doing, and that's just a check for that, so we appreciate that. But it's just a lot of time added to what they do on a daily basis with teachers and students, and so we appreciate their time on that. Also, just want to highlight the foundation auction. It is an online only auction this year. It runs November 3rd through the 13th. So the most important thing is that everybody gets registered. And once you get registered, you'll start getting notifications of it starting. And we had an amazing pre-auction. I don't want to share any numbers. I don't know that we're ready to do that yet, but it was a very successful pre-auction, and we're looking forward to the full auction coming up very soon. Just remember, it's all for a great cause. We also want to just finally say congratulations to our Hall of Honor recipients recently. We had a great ceremony. Thank you, Mrs. Tovar, for helping with that. Thank you, alumni, for also participating in that, Alumni Association, Ms. Powell, Mr. Robinson, Ms. Atkinson, and Ms. Tina for their introduction into the Bethany Hall of Honor. And we just want to thank you for their contributions to Bethany over the years. That is my report.
All right, we're adjourned.